Ladies and gentlemen, I was just listening to YouTube. I do that every once in a while. 1 second. And Afro-man, he sang the song, Because I Got High, Because I Got High. Anyway, and the officers raided his home. Now, we're going to do the Channel 7 report because what he did is he has cameras inside his home. Way to go, Afro. And the police, when they raided his home based on the information of a confidential informant, they kicked down his door, they broke his gate, and they searched throughout his entire house. And he's watching it all on his cell phone like I can do on mine. Ladies and gentlemen, the best thing in the world I did, the first thing I did when I got this property is I got Okay, now hold on, Afro. Let me show you something. And if y'all know who this young man is and how to get in touch with him, let him know that this one's free. You see, the officers decided to sue him because he's using their likenesses and he's making a profit. So now they're suing him because they're saying he's ruining their reputation. This was 2 months ago that the lawsuit started. Let me help you out. Ladies and gentlemen, police officers in the line of duty have no privacy protection. Absolutely none. No public official, no public officer, no public agent has any right to privacy while performing their job, while they're on duty. These officers also tried to disconnect his camera system. What were they trying to hide? The officers have cameras, so he is allowed to videotape them the same as they are allowed to videotape him. Do you know that you cannot tell the officers, I don't want to be videotaped when you're out in public? When you're out in public, you have no right to privacy. That's what the Supreme Court has said. So that's why the police can film you driving down the street. You get it? Well, when they broke into his house, they broke into private property. They saw the security camera warnings. They have no claim. But of course, you know, the attorney is the same color as them, and he's going to bring forth that gobbledygook, that junk, to make it seem like he's got a case. He doesn't have a case because these are public officials, and no, you hammer it into their head, you hammer it before a jury. They have no right to privacy. They have no privacy rights. The Supreme Court has already said that. There is no expectation of privacy when they are in the performance of their job. When they are talking about a secret informant, no, they don't even get to keep that person's secret if you do the right paperwork. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's play this for a second. They come in his house, ain't nobody there. They messing with all his cars, searching everything, and he's videotaping them. All up on his couch and everything. Dirty little boots coming on inside, tracking all that dirt up in the house. They know better than that. I don't even know what they thinking about. Look, they don't even know what they thinking about. Look, broke the gate and everything. Just come on in. Come on in. Oh, what? Let me put that back. Oh, let's kick the door down. Bye-bye, door. You see, that's what they did to his house. You know, Afro said he asked them, hey, you guys, you might help me put the door back on, the hinges. This is the song, ladies and gentlemen. My gate and my door. He's asking, can y'all help me repair my gate and my door? And this video went viral. 177,000 views on just this video by itself. Okay? 177,000 views of this. Oh, look, this officer, you see that cake? Look at that. He's been eating too much cake. Okay? Hold on. It might be a big mistake if you eat my cake. Would you like to have a piece of my cake?
Lemon pound cake.
A lemon pound cake. Now, ladies and gentlemen, on the serious side, most people are intimidated by this. These are sheriff's officers. They said they were following a tip. They were in there looking for something. Not because they heard of a crime. No, they were looking for something specifically. and they didn't find it. The fact that he had cameras all over his house, his children were playing next door. Good thing they weren't in the house by themselves. Okay? Good thing his children were not in the house by themselves, of age to watch over themselves. Good thing they weren't in the house by themselves and these idiots are coming in there with guns. That's all we need is one of those incidents to occur. Apparently, the informant said that he was keeping women bound in the basement. Okay? They didn't find no evidence of anybody ever being bound in the basement. Do you think they apologized to him? So, there was a case in Texas, Latos Law. He talks about this case where an elderly woman had the police come to her house, and they had a reason for being there because there was a guy who was at her house. He had kidnapped a young girl. He was sexually assaulting this young girl. He brought this young girl on a job because I believe he was a handyman plumber. He brought the young girl on the job with him. Stupid is as stupid does. He deserved, never mind. Ladies and gentlemen, the police come, they surround the house. The guy doesn't want to come out, doesn't want to give up the little girl. So they tear gas the house, put holes in the roof, put holes in the door, put holes in the windows. Ladies and gentlemen, they finally take the guy, because he ain't black, okay? Hold on now. Hold on, y'all heard me. The guy wasn't a colored folk, so they take him in alive. Sorry, if he was colored folk, he would not be alive. The stakes are against him. Anyway, and the woman had $60,000 worth of damage. Her insurance company would not pay because it was an act of government. Yeah, there's an actual clause that because they're sovereign, they don't have to pay for nothing. So the woman's attorney, the guy after my own heart, thinks like me. He says, oh no, they were performing a public duty, a public function, and they caused damage. They took control over her property. Remember, they took control of the property at the scene. Ma'am, we're in charge here. They took control of her property for public use, and they didn't compensate her. And that's what the attorney sued for. And, you know, they got paid. So you got to understand, when police officers are operating, they're operating in public. This has already been well established, well decided. So these officers, no matter how big they is, because you know he's at a desk all the time, anywhere, or sitting behind the wheel all the time. Sorry, officer, I'm not meaning to talk about you. You're probably an all right guy. Honestly, you're probably an all right guy, so I apologize for that. Not because I'm afraid of nobody's stupid suit, but he doesn't deserve that. I don't know this man. I don't know what his personality is like. I don't know what he was regarding the group that went into this man's house. I don't know who the bad actors were. I know that there had to have been a bad actor. I know there had to have been a bad actor because they show up to the property and the first thing they do is they kick down the door. That's called a no-knock warrant. Okay? And you can see the neighbors and everybody looking. So, again, don't know who was who. What I can tell you is when they came into that private property, they had no rights whatsoever. They were performing a public function. That's the excuse they use for coming into your home, for immunity, because they're claiming that they're immune from suit. So he can't sue them. So what did he do? Because I got high. Because I got high. Okay? See? Because I got high. Because I got high. Number one song he's known for. Because I got high. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, used to hear that song in my neighborhood all day long. I never played it because it's not me. But his house was broken into. And these officers, where's the lawsuit thing at? Yeah. Afro-man calls the lawsuit and the police who raided his home, blah, 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 blah. Okay? He says they're a bunch of crybabies, and he's absolutely right. You can't use the so-called code for your defense in one instance and then not use it for your defense in another instance. I would have him take a look at that case out of Texas about the takings clause, about the Fifth Amendment, how they can't just come into your house and take whatever they want and do whatever they want. The law doesn't work that way. So, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I just saw the video. And when I heard about the lawsuit and they ran over a couple of, it was one of those ABC News channels that did the I think this is it right here. No, this ain't it, but this is Fox News, but it's ABC, and I saw it earlier, but that's okay. We ain't got to go to the actual video. It's just the simple fact that they were trying to sue him because he used their likenesses on video, and they were talking about the damage to their reputation, the emotional harm. Well, what about the damage to his reputation? Police showing up at his house for no reason whatsoever. There was no crime. He's not been charged with anything. And then they damage his property. What about that damage? So his immunity is, it was private property. He had signs notifying individuals that the house had cameras. He had a security system. They tried to shut off his security system. He shows it in the video. Let's see if we can show y'all that scene, because I liked it how I saw the officer crouching. See? Kidnapping. This ain't the video, so I'm going. And you know they were there for hours. No, the one I'm looking for is where they're crouching on the floor. This is it right here. Not that one. That one right there. That's it right there. Come on now. Nope, that ain't it. Come on, I see the picture. There it is, the picture right there. There he is right there. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going after his camera system. They're trying to turn it off and shut it down. So they realized that there is a camera system. It was not being hidden from anybody. So they knew that there was a camera system, and he talks about how they went after the camera system. Why would they go after his camera system? Huh, homie? Why would you go after his camera system? Come on now, got one more picture. See, going through everything. They know he got cameras. He ain't hiding it from nobody. Look, they even got their little twist ties. Look at that. We gonna just wrap you up like hog tie you, because that's what we do to the animals. That's the police department, ladies and gentlemen. That is the police department. This is how they operate. Now, like I said, officers could be good guys. Don't know. I don't know one of them from Tom, Dick, or Mary. What I can tell you is they have no claim because they're performing a public function. Now, mind you, they could have a valid reason to go and obtain a warrant, but nobody reads the Constitution like they're supposed to. In order to get a warrant, they have to go before a judge. They have to introduce evidence. So that's called a hearing, whether it's by telephone or whether it's in person, or even if it's by paper, it's called a hearing. The Fourth Amendment makes it quite clear that no warrant shall issue unless upon probable cause. Probable cause means a hearing. That's why it's called a probable cause hearing. But that hearing that they're having is an ex parte hearing. That's where it's illegal. Ladies and gentlemen, any of you who've ever been arrested on a warrant where they did not notify you that they were seeking a warrant for your arrest or seeking a warrant to search your property, you only have to get them with the wording of the Fourth Amendment. Fourth Amendment says no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause. So you ask the judge, call the judge as a witness, the one who signed the warrant. How did you come to know of this incident? How did you come to know that there was a need to search this person's property? Okay, who all was present at that meeting? I asked for an immediate dismissal. Well, that's called an ex parte hearing, and that is illegal. It says no warrant shall issue, not even this one. Probable cause, the Supreme Court says, as long as there is a substantial due process issue, I have a right to notification. And notification isn't you showing up on my door talking about police, open up. Open up now. That's not probable cause, people. Probable cause is a hearing. That's the way it used to be. That's the way it used to be. There is no law allowing them just to get a warrant and come search your home. There is no law allowing them just to get a warrant and come arrest somebody. There must be a hearing, and there's always a hearing. The prosecution and the witness, whether it be a police officer or an actual person, puts an affidavit before the judge, and the judge says, I find probable cause. And the judge asks questions. That's called a hearing, people. That's an ex parte hearing. It's illegal in the United States. Now, give me a favor. Do me a favor. Hold on one second. Let me show y'all something. Hey, Marlene, get on over here. Marlene versus Central Handover Bank and Trust Company, 1950. Central Handover Bank and Trust Company, 1960. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want the syllabus, because I can syllabus. My mama can syllabus, your daddy can syllabus, everybody can syllabus. Ladies and gentlemen, the one unique thing that everybody needs to know, let's do fundamental, because it's fundamental. Okay, the fundamental requisite requirement of due process of law is an opportunity to be heard. The right to be heard has little reality or worth unless one is informed that the matter is pending and can choose for himself whether or not to appear, to default, acquiesce, or contest. Hanover Trust Company, ladies and gentlemen, you have a right to a hearing, and if a significant property interest is involved, pay attention, if a significant property interest is involved, hold on. Against this interest of the state, we must balance the individual's interest sought to be protected by the 14th Amendment. This is defined by our holding that an individual has a right to be heard. Okay? They say we haven't not set forth any standard or anything, but a person has a right to be heard and reasonably. That's why you see the word reasonably. All throughout this, you're going to see reasonable. The court must be reasonably. Okay? The criterion is not the possibility of conceivable injury, but the just and reasonable character requirement having reference to a subject with which the statute deals. Ladies and gentlemen, stop allowing yourself to be taken advantage of. There are just certain cases that are paramount that most people don't know because they don't study this, and that's why there's people like me around. So my hope is that, like with the young man with the New York Knicks and that situation with the owner, not going to say anybody's name, but the fact that they were able to get that issue settled and resolved because they were going to accuse him of doing something wrong when he didn't assault anybody. They assaulted him first and was able to point that out. In this case, just watching it, it was obvious. These idiots are sitting up here talking about, oh, we are injured. No, nobody hurt us physically, but he put our picture on the internet, Your Honor, and we didn't want him to put it on there. He's making a living off of it. Sir, you're a police officer. You're a public official. You're in the public all the time. Your picture's being taken all the time. You have no property interest. You have no property rights. You're not operating in a private capacity, so you have no property interest, no property rights. So shut it up and go sit in the corner. All right, Mr. Man, Mr. Man, we're going to dismiss this case against you. You want to countersue them, huh, Afro? Countersue them. It's too late. They already filed the lawsuit. You see, I would have countersued them, and I would have countersued them for a violation of the Fifth Amendment. He can still do it. He just have to file a separate suit because that suit's been going on a little bit too long. I just found out about it today. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. What the SEC and the company we're dealing with, because they want to act a fool, okay, I have to act a fool. I have to get their attention. Now, they coming my way. Sure, they swing my way. Anyway, I don't. Did you say anyway to Shorty swing my... Oh, stop it. Ladies and gentlemen, Luther Vandross told me, give me a reason to... And all they need to do is give me a reason. I've been really waiting to show what I'm capable of. We hold the notice of judicial settlement of accounts required at the New York banking law is incompatible with the requirements of the 14th Amendment as a basis for adjudication of depriving known persons whose whereabouts is also known of substantial property rights. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what I've been saying. They cannot issue a warrant without at least contacting you and giving you an opportunity to be present at the hearing. They can't arrest you prior to the issuance of the warrant, and the warrant can't issue without a hearing. You have a right to be at the hearing. That's what this case is all about, people. Hand over, trust company. Hand over, trust company. Hand over, Central Hand Over Bank and Trust Company. 1950 versus Mullane. Maybelline, get on over here. Okay, apologize. I'm in a good mood today. I'm as tired as I can be. Tired as a dog. Man, how tired is a dog? Dead tired. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go. I just wanted to say that whenever somebody brings something to me, I promise you, his attorneys haven't told him any of the things that I just said. His attorney has probably told him, well, it's going to be kind of difficult. They're peace officers, and you are a person of color, and it's going to be an uphill battle because you're in Cleveland, homie. And because you're in Cleveland, you're not going to get a jury that's going to rule in your favor. No, your name is not George Floyd, and you're definitely not no Michael Brown. So, no, you're not going to get any special favors. You're Afro-man talking about getting high all the time. Okay, that's what his attorney's going to tell him. The cards are stacked against you. So, like I said, just ask them to provide evidence through subpoena process. Provide evidence that you were operating in your private personal capacity when you came into my house. Because if they are, they lose the case. Because they can't operate in their private personal capacity when entering in his house. So if they were not operating in a private personal capacity, that means they were operating in a public capacity, which means they have no privacy rights. Okay, don't take my word for it. Look it up. Look at the phrase. Officials operating in their public capacity have no privacy rights or right to privacy. That's why you can videotape a police officer in public. It is not illegal. You see the First Amendment auditors all the time out there videotaping everybody, and they try to tell them to stop, and they say, no, I have the right to do this. So, ladies and gentlemen, in your own house, you have the right to have cameras, not those sneaky cameras. You have the right to have cameras in your own house, as long as you have a notice. And as long as you don't put it in the bathroom, okay? There's some nasty people put cameras in. No, don't do that, okay? That's wrong. Okay. So, if you guys are facing a similar situation, this information is free of charge. So take it and do the best you can with it. Like I said, I know what I'm capable of when it comes to this law stuff. I don't argue with judges anymore. I put the facts on the record. They cannot handle the facts, so always put the facts on the record. Don't argue with them. Keep your questions and your comments crisp and to the point. Don't try to explain nothing. You ain't got no business explaining yourself to nobody. Stop sitting up there defending yourself. Everybody's always trying to defend themselves. Stop trying to defend yourself. You don't have to defend yourself. The only time you have to defend yourself is when you're being attacked. The court cannot attack you. They have the burden to prove their case. They don't ever prove anything. There's never any evidence in any case. We have overwhelming evidence. Where is it? Where's this overwhelming evidence? Where did you invent it at? There's no evidence in any case. The only evidence in the case is after you get arrested, your fingerprints and your photo. That's where you're admitting to being the defendant, i.e. guilty. You never admit to being the defendant. You are not required to take photos or fingerprints until after conviction. So stop testifying against yourself. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Stop testifying against yourselves, people. Stop talking to them idiots. Stop talking to them. You guys saw the conversation. Well, you heard the conversation that I told you about when the officer asked the question. The first thing is, excuse me. That's your first question when they ask you a question. Excuse me. License and registration, please. Excuse me. Why? No. Don't take it as obstinance. Take it as you are required to give me a reason if I ask you for a reason. So my question to you is why? Are we being recorded? Is your mic on? These are questions they have to answer. And my next response would be, no, I'm not giving you the registration. What you can do is look at those tags and see whether or not this automobile has been registered. And if you don't see it on either the registration sticker or on the registration tags on that license plate, then you're going to have to contact the DMV. Because something is either wrong with your eyes or wrong with your computer system. You see, it says that I must produce it upon request. Well, it's on the license plate, it's on the window. So I produced it. I don't have to produce no paper to you. It's already on the vehicle. I put it on there. They didn't put it on there, so I'm already presenting it to you. I know. You never knew that. I know. Anyway, anything else? Driver's license. I need ID. You need ID? What do you need ID for? When you're out in public, you must have ID. Oh, yeah, I have ID, but you haven't given me a reason. See, you must give me a reason. Now, you can't find probable cause because you don't have the authority to find probable cause. Only a judge can find probable cause. So I need you to tell me what is your reason for stopping me. Then if it says anything about a traffic violation, all you have to do is have a little paper in your hand showing that your traffic laws were not written by the legislature. Go ahead. Your traffic laws were not written by the legislature. Don't believe me? Go ahead and check it out. Legislature writes bills, people. Legislature writes bills. They do not write codes. No. Let me say it again. Legislature writes bills. They do not write codes. Comprende? Legislatures write bills. They do not write codes. They do not write revised statutes. Do your research. He cannot charge you with violating a code, an ordinance, or revised statute. That is not the law. He can only enforce the law. He's not a code enforcer. I know. You've heard differently, and I get it. He is a law enforcement officer. And you can even ask him that question. Are you a law enforcement officer? Just that simple. Well, then, what law are you referencing? And just have that piece of paper showing that junk ain't law. Say, I'm only required to follow the law. I'm not required to follow a code. I'm not required to follow a revised statute. If you can show me where I'm required to follow a revised statute, that a revised statute was written and enacted by Congress, then, man, shut my mouth and call me your mama. Okay? Because I'll do it immediately. Now, I'm going to stop there because now we're going a little bit too deep. That's right. This wasn't supposed to be one of those videos because if you did your research, like I said, just have to have the paper on you showing that the legislative process, what the legislative process is, and showing who wrote the code. I write the code that... Well, okay, let's do this. We're going to do right here. We got this case right here. We did the handover trust company. We're going to do this right here. We're going to take Florida, for instance, okay? Florida. Fluoride. Florida revised. Florida revised statutes. We're going to click on this right here. COMP, by. We want to know who the revised statute was compiled by. The Florida Office of Legislative Service Division and Statutory Revision has the final authority to determine where the legislation will be codified and the location and sections of the chapter. It's not written by Congress, people. Go ahead and take a look. It's not written by Congress. See, Florida statutes are codified, statutory laws of Florida. It currently has 49 different titles. It's not written by Congress. It's written by the Florida Office of Legislative Service Division of Statutory Revision. It's not written by Congress. Okay? It's written by a group that they set up. Every single state, I'm still checking on California. Every single state, still checking on California. This is what they do. traffic laws, penal laws, all of that stuff. That's not law, ladies and gentlemen. Revised statutes are not law. Congress does not write revised statutes. Pay attention. Congress does not write revised statutes. See, they're updated annually after the conclusion of the regular legislative session, typically published in July and August, that turns blah, blah, blah. Congress didn't write that. Congress is not updating that. Those are not laws. Those are codification of what they claim the law was. Well, you can't be charged with a codification. You can only be charged with the law. You can only be charged with violating the law. You cannot be charged with violating a code. Y'all need to get up on it. Get down on it. Okay? Y'all need to get up on the law and understand what your rights are. You gotta fight for your right to party. Beastie Boys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gents, thank you for joining us here in this session of What is the Law, and was Afro-Man's house really damaged by the police? Have a good day, everybody. Arrivederci, adios, sayonara, goodbye.